Hey, what's going on YouTube? I'm DarkJack, and in this video I'll go flawless in the map raid with a nuclear medal. And in this video I want to talk about why I'm not primarily a PC gamer and the differences between PC gaming and console gaming as I see it. So first of all, you've got the interface. In PC gaming, if you're playing a first-person shooter game, you use the WASD keys and the mouse. Whereas with the console you use a controller, whether that's Wii or PlayStation or Xbox. And I find that for first-person shooter games, or any first-person or third-person game, a controller works much better than the WASD keys. Now for top-down games like League of Legends and Diablo, having a mouse and a keyboard is much better than having a controller. Because I remember playing StarCraft on the Nintendo 64 back in the day, and it was terrible with a controller. But with a mouse and keyboard, it's so much easier for those type of games. But for shooter games, it's much easier to control the movements of your character with an analog stick rather than with a mouse and keyboard. And PC gamers will say that you can use a controller with PC games, but that's actually not true. Even though most PC games are compatible with the Xbox 360 controller, most of the games that allow a controller have horrible input lag. And so when you're using a controller on a PC game, there's a really bad delay. And so if you played Skyrim on the PC with a 360 controller, it's unplayable. There's literally a half a second to a full second delay between everything you do on the controller and what happens on the screen. And even with the mouse and a keyboard, there's a big input lag. So you have to go into the game files and mess around. And Left 4 Dead on the PC with a controller is also really laggy. And there's some games that are pretty decent with a controller on PC, like Halo 2 on PC and Halo 1. Those were alright with a controller. The input lag wasn't too bad. And in the past 5 to 10 years, there's been a huge movement away from PC shooters like Quake and Unreal Tournament to console games for first-person shooter games. And so when you look at how many people bought Call of Duty for Modern Warfare 3, you had 12.5 million sales on the Xbox, 10.3 million sales for PS3, and only 1 million for PC, which means that for Call of Duty players, only around 4.5% of them are PC gamers, whereas the rest are console. Also, when you play on console games, the game automatically updates, and so you never have to manually install the updates for a game. Also, when you're playing on consoles, you're able to play a certain number of exclusive games that are not available on PC. So games like Demon's Souls, Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy 13, Gears of War, God of War, Halo, Jak and Daxter, Ni no Kuni, Red Dead Redemption, and Uncharted, all of those games cannot be played on PC, and so people buy game consoles for console exclusives, games that you can play nowhere else, not on any other console or on PC. And so I was watching a video by Kripparrian, who's an excellent PC gamer, and he was talking about Diablo coming to the PS4, and he said concerning the PS4 that he's not going to buy it because he said, why would I pay $500 for a crappier version of what I already had? So he believes that his gaming PC is going to be more powerful than the PS4. And that might be true, but I seriously doubt his gaming PC has GDDR5 with 8 gigabytes of RAM, which is what the PS4 is going to have. And people buy consoles for console exclusives, not because they believe that their console is more powerful than a gaming PC, because you can build a gaming PC that is much more powerful than current generation consoles. But the next generation of gaming consoles is going to bridge the gap between consoles and PC. And if you look, for example, at BioShock Infinite, when you compare the graphics on the PC version at max settings and the console version, the PC version looks much better. The graphics are much sharper and the colors are much more saturated. But in the next generation of consoles, that bridge is going to be crossed. And the PS4, the next Xbox version of BioShock Infinite, and I'm guessing they will have an updated version of that game for next-gen consoles, is going to look as good. Also, many former PC exclusives are coming or have come to console. So Crysis, for example, was a gaming PC system seller. That is now on consoles. The Witcher 2 is on Xbox 360, and Diablo 3 is coming to PS3 and possibly Xbox. And so PC game developers know that if they make their games multi-platform, it's going to sell a lot more, rather than just putting it on the PC. And so there's a misconception that PC gamers play that way because they have enough money to buy gaming PCs, and console players play on console because they don't have enough money to play on PC. But in fact, when developers make a game for PC, what they do is they make it so it can run on everything. If you design a game that only works on high-end gaming PCs, then not very many people are going to be able to buy it. So PC developers build games for everything. And so if you own a PC that has at least 2 gigabytes of RAM, you should be able to play just about every game on the lowest setting. And so also when I play on console, I never have to worry about compatibility issues because the game is too old or too new for a PC. And for example, on my PC, I downloaded and played the original Witcher game after playing Witcher 2 on Xbox, and I couldn't get the game to run on my PC because the game is too old for my new PC. And the same is true with Halo 2 as well, even though it runs on my older laptop just fine. I'm also not an MMO person, because I find the combat of MMO games to be too simplistic for my taste. I would much rather play Dark Souls or The Witcher 2. And then generally, PC exclusives are also free-to-play games. There are a lot of free-to-play MMOs on PC. And I find that those games are generally incomplete or very exploitative. And they only give you a partial game, and you have to pay to get the rest. But I want a game that I can pay everything now, and then have peace of mind about not having to pay for anything else. And that's one reason I don't like all the microtransactions in DLC. Because I feel like those things have been taken from the original game, and then added on as a way for them just to make new money. And also, there's a reason why free-to-play games are free-to-play, because most of them would not sell well if they were for $60, brand new. So that summarizes why I primarily play on consoles rather than PC, because of the controller, because of the automatic game updates, console exclusives, the fact that many PC games have come to consoles, the next-gen consoles will bridge the gap, and never having to worry about compatibility issues. So that in a nutshell is why I prefer to play on the Xbox rather than PC, although I do play Diablo 3 on the PC, and that's a decent game even though the economy is not that great.